Imagine Britain in the final uneasy months before the war, when factories worked under rising tension and engineers rushed to prepare machines that the army would soon rely on. In the town of Luton, the Bedford Motor Company created a vehicle that looked modest, simple, and almost unremarkable at first glance. Yet this light truck would become one of the most widely used British vehicles of the entire Second World War. It was the Bedford MW, a compact but resilient workhorse that served on every front and earned a reputation for doing its job without failure, without complaint, and without needing attention. It became the truck that never tried to be a hero, yet quietly carried the war on its flatbed. Development of the Bedford MW began in 1935, when the British War Office demanded a new 1,500-weight general service truck capable of carrying 760 kilograms, approximately 1,676 pounds. It needed to be simple, light, easy to maintain, and capable of navigating narrow European roads as well as rough terrain overseas. Production started in 1939, just as Britain entered the conflict. The engineers designed it around a straightforward philosophy: build a machine that can be repaired anywhere, driven by anyone, and pushed far beyond its limits without shutting down. Under the bonnet sat a Bedford 6-cylinder overhead valve petrol engine with a displacement of 3.5 liters. It produced 72 horsepower at 3,000 revolutions per minute, a number that might seem small today, but was perfectly balanced with the truck's compact size and low weight. The empty vehicle weighed about 2,100 kilograms, approximately 4,630 pounds, which allowed it to stay mobile even when the roads were soft, damaged, or partly destroyed. The engine was paired with a 4-speed manual gearbox and a 4x2 drive layout that kept the design simple, reliable, and easy to service under field conditions. The Bedford MW was also compact in size. Its length was 4.37 meters, approximately 14.3 feet, its width 1.98 meters, approximately 6.5 feet, and its height 2.29 meters, approximately 7.5 feet. These proportions made the truck highly maneuverable in tight spaces, especially in European towns where streets could be narrow and unpredictable. Despite lacking four-wheel drive, the MW often performed better than heavier trucks because of its light weight, strong chassis, and effective suspension made of semi-elliptical leaf springs. This allowed the truck to move confidently through mud, sand, and uneven ground that normally challenged vehicles in its class. Early versions of the Bedford MW featured an open cab with a folding windscreen and a canvas roof. This saved weight and helped speed up production. Drivers had excellent visibility and could quickly jump in and out of the cab, but the open design offered little protection from wind, rain, or winter cold. As the war expanded and demands increased, Bedford introduced enclosed cabs with metal doors and side screens. These changes improved comfort during harsh weather and long-distance convoys, while preserving the truck's durability and simplicity. One of the reasons the Bedford MW became iconic was the sheer number of variants produced. Over 66,000 examples left the factories between 1939 and 1945. The standard version, the MWD, served as the general service cargo truck and transported everything from food to ammunition. The MWC carried water or fuel using cylindrical tanks mounted on the chassis. The MWT acted as a light artillery tractor, towing anti-tank or anti-aircraft guns. The MWG acted as a portee carrier for weapons like the 2-pounder and 20mm guns. The MWR was a dedicated radio truck with communication equipment, while the MWV served the Royal Air Force as a signals van or mobile workshop. This versatility made the Bedford MW one of the most adaptable vehicles in the entire Allied fleet. In North Africa, the MW earned admiration for its ability to keep moving through deep sand where heavier vehicles bogged down. Its light frame and balanced power-to-weight ratio allowed the engine to work efficiently even in extreme heat. Crews appreciated how quickly the truck could be serviced. The engine compartment was easy to access, the transmission could be repaired with basic tools, and replacement parts were plentiful and interchangeable across different MW versions. Soldiers joked that the MW only needed clean fuel, oil, and a determined driver to keep running. Across Europe, the Bedford MW became a constant companion of advancing troops. It followed infantry through the Italian mountains, moved with artillery units during the Normandy campaign, and transported vital supplies across the Low Countries and into Germany. It could carry wounded soldiers, rations, spare parts, radio equipment, small cannons, or even stretchers when required. It was the truck that was always there, at the airfields, in the convoys, beside the artillery, at forward bases, and in rear-line workshops. Even though it was never designed to impress, the MW played a role in almost every major British operation of the war. One of the truck's greatest strengths was its maintenance simplicity. The electrical system was minimalistic, the carburetor easy to clean, and the ignition system simple enough for field repairs. Many MWs continued to function even when overloaded well beyond their official capacity. The robustness of the chassis allowed crews to push the truck harder than intended, and wartime diaries often mentioned Bedford MWs carrying twice their rated load simply because there was no alternative. When something broke, soldiers fixed it quickly. When something wore out, they replaced it. And most of the time, the MW kept going long after other vehicles had already stopped. After the war, thousands of MWs entered civilian service. Farmers bought them for transporting goods, builders used them for carrying materials, and small companies converted them into delivery trucks and maintenance vehicles. Their engines continued to run reliably for decades, and the simple mechanical layout made them cost-effective for everyday use. Many stayed in service well into the 1950s and even the early 1960s, still performing tasks they had not been originally designed for. Today, restored Bedford MWs can be seen in museums, historical reenactments, and private collections. Their engines still produce the same steady tone that once echoed across supply lines in North Africa and Europe. Their shape, unchanged and unmistakable, reminds us of a time when simple machines carried the weight of an enormous global conflict. The MW may not have been the most powerful or technologically advanced truck of the war, but it was one of the most dependable. It carried what needed to be carried, went where it needed to go, and played a silent but essential part in keeping the Allied armies moving forward. If you enjoy discovering the vehicles that shaped history from behind the scenes, make sure to subscribe. There are many more stories ahead, each revealing how machines like the Bedford MW helped win a war not through glory, but through relentless, everyday service.